I'm really curious. How do you actually know if you want to buy an e-commerce website or not? What about how much you should actually spend on an e-commerce website? And what type of e-commerce business you want to buy? Or heck, where should you be looking to buy these e-commerce businesses from? In this video, I'm going to show you how to break down who should buy an e-commerce business, who shouldn't, and where you should buy these e-commerce businesses from. Now, if you're ready to dive in and learn where to buy e-commerce businesses, please share some YouTube love with me and hit that like button. I do appreciate it. Straight up, who should buy an e-commerce business and who shouldn't? Well, when you're brand new to wanting to make money online and this is your first sort of foot in the door and you're thinking about buying an e-commerce business, my suggestion is to not go with an e-commerce business. The reason why is because there's so many hats to wear in terms of doing digital marketing, knowing how to run pay-per-click advertising campaigns on Google and on Facebook and wherever that business is advertising their products and promoting their products. You also need to really be across customer service, or at least know how to do customer service. Sure, you can learn it, but juggling customer service, PPC, and then also understanding inventory management can be a hard task, and that's putting a lot of pressure and stress on yourself when you're first coming into the space of making money online, especially when that's such a hard task to do. It's not something that you just breeze on into. So I think when you're a beginner, you should start with an easier business model, maybe like content websites, where you don't have to juggle so many balls and wear so many hats as a business owner in terms of running inventory management, knowing how to do pay-per-click advertising campaigns, customer service, SEO, and changing things on your website. There's a lot of work to be done there. So that's who I don't think an e-commerce business is actually right for. Somebody who is a beginner and really new to the space. Although for somebody who has experience in pay-per-click advertising, then why not buy an e-commerce business? Because you have leverage. And the same goes for somebody that has experience in inventory management and customer service and maybe email marketing. If you have leverage or a skill that an e-commerce business needs to grow and thrive, then that's leverage, and you can take that skill and plug that into that e-commerce business and get great returns out of that if you're very confident and you know you can get results in the tasks and the experience that you have that e-commerce business actually needs. So they're the type of people that I believe should buy an e-commerce business, people that have leverage and can really get a great result from buying an e-commerce business. But what I see too many times is people that come to the space of wanting to make money online and go, yes, I want to start an online business or want to buy an online business. And the number one business model they decide to choose on is an e-commerce business. And it's not their fault, right? Maybe that is a good business for them to buy. Maybe. Okay, maybe they got some leverage, from working in a job somewhere else. But most people don't, and most people want to buy an e-commerce business with zero experience. And this is a real hard task to do, especially learning how to do pay-per-click advertising or even being able to afford people to run the advertising for you. Finding people that are good at advertising, finding people that are good at customer support, finding good team that produce results, especially when you're buying a business, is really hard. So I suggest if you don't have any experience in e-commerce, don't just start selling products on the internet. You're in for a whirlwind of hard work. Now, if you've realized that, yes, I'm the person to buy an e-commerce business, great. Let's run through some places that you can go to buy these e-commerce businesses. Number one, Empire Flippers. EmpireFlippers.com. There's going to be links to all of these places that I list in the show notes in the description, so go away and get those links there. But number one, Empire Flippers. Empire Flippers sell e-commerce businesses. A lot of them are Amazon FBA businesses, time of recording this, and that will change as e-commerce business models evolve over time. But they do sell a lot of e-commerce businesses on Empire Flippers, anywhere from the price point of usually $50,000 up to even $20 million. Now, when you come to Empire Flippers, if you want to go away and get access to listings and do due diligence and get the raw data and information about each business to conduct due diligence, you do need to apply to Empire Flippers, create an account, and get proof of finances, get proof of funds to show Empire Flippers you have money to purchase a business of the size that you're actually looking at. So then they can reward you with the information about the business, because they are just cutting out people that don't have money that want to do due diligence on businesses but don't actually want to buy, which makes sense. But there's a pro and a con to using Empire Flippers, like there's a pro and con to anything in life. The second place you can go away and buy an e-commerce business is Quiet Light, formerly Quiet Light Brokerage. There'll be a link in the description. Now, Quiet Light sell predominantly e-commerce businesses. At times, of course, maybe they have a SaaS website or a membership business for sale, and sometimes they have the odd content website for sale, but they do usually focus on selling e-commerce businesses. Now, Quiet Light are a bit different than Empire Flippers. With Quiet Light, you can submit your information to find out more about each of the businesses you may be looking at, to get access to the prospectus and do due diligence. Of course, you're probably going to need to sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement, claiming that you won't disclose anything of any of the data from the business that you do get in the prospectus. Now, that's a really good thing. That's a pro to using Quiet Light Brokerage. You don't need to show proof of funds and all that sort of stuff. Now, a con to Quiet Light Brokerage is that if you're brand new to this space and you want to buy a business for under the $50,000 range, especially an e-commerce business, usually Quiet Light Brokerage don't focus on businesses under the $50,000 price range. They focus on selling businesses $50,000 up to the $20 million range. Now, there's a similar thing with Empire Flippers as well. Empire Flippers and Quiet Light don't really focus on the smaller deals. But that said, there's other places you can go to buy businesses or e-commerce businesses specifically under that $50,000 price range. So you're asking, where is that place? Where can I go, Jared, to buy that business, that e-commerce business under the $50,000 price range? Well, Flippa, of course. Flippa, there'll be a link in the description. Flippa sells any type of online business at any size, and anybody can list their business for sale. Now, Flippa do have some great businesses listed for sale under that $50,000 price range. And that's in fact where I actually started buying my first website businesses. And I have bought an e-commerce business for under $50,000 from Flippa. That said, make sure you know how to do your due diligence for an e-commerce business before you go away and look at buying a website from anywhere, even Flippa. Now, the reason I say this is because if you don't, or if you've never bought an online business before, there's a lot of listings on Flippa and there's a lot of dud ones. There's also a lot of good ones, and it's really hard to find the difference between a good business and a dud business unless you know how to do due diligence. When it's time for you to do due diligence, you should know the CLTV, customer lifetime value. You should know how to find the CPA, customer cost per acquisition, You should know the marketing, how it works, and where the marketing may actually need improving. There's a lot to know about an e-commerce business that you may not need to know when you're doing due diligence on other businesses. And if you don't understand how to do it, then please do yourself a massive favor and learn how to do due diligence first. If you don't know how to do due diligence, make sure you do yourself a favor and scroll below and get my Due Diligence Framework. It's a framework that I use and all of my clients use to buy website businesses. It takes the guesswork out of buying a website business, and the framework actually asks the questions that you need answers to equip you with the information to make an educated decision on buying the business or not. I have 2 more places that I want to show you where you can buy e-commerce businesses. But let me ask, do you have a content strategy for the e-commerce business that you want to buy? If not, you should. Our video sponsor Niche Website Builders have been helping our members and audience grow their websites with their done-for-you content creation packages and link building services, which is why they're offering us exclusive deals on their packages. To get them and check out those deals, go to nichewebsite.builders/BOB/. Now, there'll be a link in the description to check that out too. Fourthly, we have another place you can buy e-commerce businesses from. This is digitalexits.com. There'll be a link to them in the show notes as well. Now, Digital Exits mostly sell e-commerce businesses. Sometimes they sell some service businesses and subscription businesses as well, but they're mostly selling e-commerce businesses, and they're not focusing on those businesses under the $50,000 price range either. Most bigger brokers don't focus on these smaller end listing businesses, which makes it hard for us as beginners because then we're forced to Flippa and other marketplaces to buy websites where there's so many businesses that can be overwhelming. So digital exits and these other brokers are ones to work up to before businesses $50,000 and above. Lastly, we have e-commerce brokers. E-commerce brokers only sell e-commerce businesses, and this is a bit of a bonus one. I know George, who actually started e-commerce businesses. He's an Australian guy. He's a good guy, and I've helped other people sell businesses from e-commerce businesses on his platform. And George and I are, quite close. And I just want to throw him in as a bit of a bonus because e-commerce brokers are an up-and-coming brokerage, and they only sell e-commerce businesses, and usually only selling businesses above the $20,000 price range. So sometimes you can get those smaller listings on e-commerce businesses, but because they're a smaller broker and they're up and coming and they're growing, usually you get a lot more hands-on work with them, a lot more customer service, and a lot more support. So a lot more touch points, and that's why I wanted to include them as a bit of a bonus on where you can buy e-commerce businesses from. That said, let me know in the comments below, where else have you seen e-commerce businesses for sale before as well? I'd love to know other brokers or other marketplaces that sell these e-commerce businesses so everybody else can find them and use them as well. So please let me know, where else have you seen e-commerce businesses for sale? YouTube watcher, what's up? It's Jared Kraus here, and if you've watched this video up until now, please smash the like button. I'm glad you're liking the video. Also, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing really well, and I also want to ask you, please consider subscribing, because my commitment and exploration on YouTube is about to explode. I'm talking stories, polls, more amazing content, more surprise and delight, and this is the time to subscribe. So I hope you consider it, and hope to see you on the next video.
Hey YouTube watcher, if you thought that video was good, you should check out this video here on the 2 best types of websites beginners should buy. Or check out my playlist on how I made my first 100K from buying websites and how to do due diligence. Check it out. It's an awesome playlist. You'll enjoy it.